Councillors Bjorkman, Mayor McDermott, and Deputy Mayor Milosh all send their regrets. In the absence of both the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor, the procedural bylaw provides for Council to appoint by resolution a presiding chair for this meeting. In consulting with the Mayor on this issue, and I would recommend the same, it was his suggestion that Council could resolve to appoint a presiding chair simply by pulling names out of a hat. So with that, I would be looking for a motion to appoint a presiding chair this evening for the meeting.
Mr. Clerk, if I may, can I ask that my name not be included in the hat, just because if I have to step out?
Questions. I got great respect for the position of the mayor wanting to appoint somebody by process of drawing a name out of the hat, but the reality is the council presiding here tonight will be working with that particular individual. So I think it really should be up to the authority of the sitting council to determine who they want to sit in the particular chair to represent the mayoral position. And we can do that by motion, as way of motion, and then looking for a seconder.
Absolutely.
And it would be my position that Ron Rogers sit in term of this tonight's meeting as mayor. Two of us have opted not to sit there, and Councillor Snively has had opportunities in the past to exercise that chair. So for tonight, in all fairness, for tonight's meeting, I would prefer to see Ron Rogers sitting there as the mayor for tonight's proceedings.
Okay. So we do have an existing motion. Moved by Councillor Snively, seconded by Councillor Bondi, that the presiding chair be appointed by way of drawing a name out of a hat. Is that motion still standing? Do you wish to withdraw that? Okay. On the motion then, how do you wish to vote? I'm calling the question. Okay.
Opposed?
Okay. Okay. So on the motion then, the motion carries then?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry? Opposed. Okay. So the motion's defeated then.
Through the clerk, I guess we have no chair at this point. I think the object here and what they're thinking with the mayor and with the clerk was that because we have two members of council tonight that have left their names in, both running for mayoral race, it is more open and transparent and not looking like anybody is having any favorites here, that those names be drawn by random versus being put up by council. I mean, it is entirely up to council's decision, but I think the optics of it is a lot better if we're just pulling a name out of a hat.
So with that, we still require a resolution by council to appoint a presiding chair for this meeting.
My position stands. I own the motion.
Councillor Vokes, you're now moving on a new motion to appoint...
The new motion is to appoint Ron Rogers for tonight's proceedings as mayor.
Okay, do we have a seconder for that motion?
I will second that motion with a comment when I can.
Okay, your comment?
Just, I feel like we're going to be at a standstill if we don't move on something, so we will, right? Like,
Sure we will.
We were at a 2-2. Okay, so let's make it a 3-1. I'll support your motion that Councillor Rogers chairs the meeting.
Okay, calling the question.
Support. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm looking for any declarations of conflict of interest.
None?
Seeing none, we'll move on to the adoption of the published agenda.
Second.
I have a notice of motion I'd like to put forward for the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yep.
I should read it?
You can speak to it now
Okay.
or adjourn notice.
I will read the motion, and I'll give you a copy of it. That motion, R18-08-369, being a motion to defer the proceedings of the Essex Town Center subdivision, formerly known as Essex Crossing subdivision, until the next term of council is rescinded, and that the business and processes of this file be brought back to the current sitting council for deliberation and decision.
Support?
No, it's just a notice of motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yep. And so we're looking to adopt the agenda as amended. Sherry, moving. And a seconder, Randy Vokes. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Adoption of the minutes of the regular council meeting for August 7th, 2018. Moved by Councillor Snively, seconded by Councillor Vokes. Any questions, concerns, additions? Nothing? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Public presentations. We don't have any public presentations this evening. Unfinished business. No unfinished business this evening. Reports from administration. Planning Department Report 2018-34. Do we have anybody? No, we're just doing,
You want me to walk through it?
no? Do you want
Just,
to, you need to walk through it, or?
no, just through you, Mr. Chair, looking for receipt of the report, council to support the removal of the holding, and 3 readings to bylaw 1738.
So, moved by Councillor Bondi, seconded by Councillor Snively. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.3, Clerk's Department. What's that?
8.2.
Oh, sorry, 8.2. Where did we down? 8.2, Clerk's Department Report 2018-14. Amendments to Schedule A of the Delegation of Authority bylaw, bylaw 1737. Moved by Councillor Snively and seconded by Councillor Bondi. Any questions? All in favor?
No, I got a question.
You got a question?
I don't have a question, but I got a comment. Because already in the election process, there's people putting literature out, taking accolades for work and endeavors that has absolutely nothing to do with them. And I want to make it clear, and I want to get an understanding from the clerk's department in terms of people.
This is not in...
No, I realize that, but I want to tag off of this because it's about the municipal election.
But we have a motion on the floor.
All right.
You'll have your opportunity.
Okay.
We have a motion on the floor. All in favor of this motion on the floor? That's carried. Thank you. Now we have 8.3, Clerk's Department Report 2018-15. That's Municipal Elections Compliance Audit Committee. And that's an audit committee that has to be put into place for the upcoming election. And is there anything else that we need to say on this? No, not yet. Mover, Councillor Bondi, and a seconder.
I'll second.
Councillor Vokes. And any comments?
Again, I want to know what the roles of the audit committee are. Because in terms of auditing literature and fallacies, because people are putting stuff out there already in terms of stuff that they had absolutely nothing to do with, but they are standing there getting royalties for pictures being taken, like they did it. And I want to know what the rules are in terms of doing that, because I'll just go stand in front of the sewage plant and point at it and say, I did this. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Council did it. And that's what people are doing today. And so how do we stop that? Like, honestly, you know what I mean? And I'm not worried about anybody running against me. Trust me, I'm not. But I got concerns about fair play. I got great concerns about fair play. And people taking royalties for things that they had nothing to do with. Absolutely nothing. And I'll leave it at that. And those people know who they are.
Thank you. Any more comments on the motion? Mr. Councilor Snively?
Through the chair, I see where Councillor Vokes is coming from, but you have to look at some of the things that's done. Some of the things that's done as a councillor on a whole. So I think that every councillor sitting at the table today, and the councillors that's not here, should take credit for some of these things that's being done. We do 99% of the things as council on a whole. So to take credit for something that's done, there is nothing wrong with that. I mean, we do it all together, and if you're one of those councillors that get it done, you should be proud of what you got done. Thank you.
Thank you. We need to get back to the motion that's on the floor. We have a motion on the floor about the Clerk's Department for the Municipal Elections Compliance Audit Committee, whether we should be going forward with that at this point.
If I could. I want to know, again, I want to know the roles and the responsibilities of the audit committee. Because if they're going to audit, what are they going to audit, and do they control that type of initiative? It is related to the question, and very much related to the question. In terms of Larry, you know you stood by that moment, Matt, when Sherry did all the work.
Point of order, Councilor Vokes.
What is your
Sherry
point?
did all the work on that.
What is your point of order?
Okay.
My point of order is that we're completely off topic, and I don't believe
I
that.
know it.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Okay, that's fine.
We need to get back to the.
Let's move on. But people work hard and people rob.
I believe that in the body of our agenda, there is a lot more explanation as to
I
the
hope so.
audit committee's
That'll
responsibility.
be asked of me, trust me.
Anyway, we're looking at a motion, or we have a motion on the floor accepting the audit committee recommendation. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you.
Is there a process where I can submit a question to the audit committee and how they're going to handle that?
Do we
And
have,
to revoke?
Through you, Mr.
anything
Chair.
that's being done?
The report in the bylaw that was just passed deals with the Compliance Audit Committee. So this deals with apparent or alleged contraventions related to campaign finances. It doesn't relate to the matters that you're referring to. I don't know the particulars of the situations that you're referring to, but if you have cause for concern, certainly I would encourage you to approach me as returning officer, and give me those particulars, and we can deal with the most appropriate action at that point. But this report here, it's just strictly about campaign finances and contraventions.
I appreciate that offer, and I'll certainly be discussing it with you tomorrow. And the media wants to talk about it to me tonight. I'll be more than happy to do that.
all right, moving on. Community Service Report 2018-303.
Yeah.
2018-030. The ACT Committee, Essex BIA Mural, Bylaw 1739. Agreement to move forward with this with Jill Thompson. Seconder,
Question?
Councillor Snively, and okay. Councillor Vokes, you have a question?
You on 1739?
Yes.
Yes. In terms of the mural, it was suggested when I read the report that the ACT committee contacted all the local artists. And my question is, did the ACT committee contact David Creed, a resident of Harrow, who did the mural for us on the back by the Spitfire committee? Was he contacted, and was that offered to him?
Cynthia, can you answer this?
Yes, through the chair. We put it out for RFQ, and nothing was received. We, at that point, went to, I believe, Dan Lassard, and sent out notice to another local group that we've used in the past, Art Attack, who David Creed, I think, works with. And it was Art Attack that brought forward the one artist that
So
prepare the
my
work.
question to administration is, was David Creed contacted through the process about, as a local artist? It's $10,000 again, going out of our community, when there's a guy who's more than qualified to do it, and all you gotta do is look at the back of the quality cleaners uptown by the Spitfire plane. He did that one. And he lives right in Harrow on the 4th concession. And he does work all around the world. So why David Creed wouldn't be accepted or even offered or opportunity directly to him to submit, because I know he'd do it. As a matter of fact, if you look on my phone, you'll see he just called me, because he knows about it. So my question is, was David Creed, by the Act Committee, a local artist, directly given the opportunity?
He was not directly, but again, we reached out to an art group and asked them to provide options for us, because there was nothing received when the public call went out, and also it was posted on the mural route, so we're not sure why we didn't get that interest originally. But again, we were working from what was available to us.
If I could, in all due respect, an art committee doesn't pay the bills of David Creed. And I think he should be approached, and if he says no, then fine, we give it to somebody from the city of Windsor. But I believe David Creed will say absolutely yes to that project. A world-renowned qualified artist right from Harrow.
Thank you, Councillor Vokes. If I may, I'll ask a question. Cynthia, did you say that this goes out on a tender, or you just reached out? It went out on a tender?
It went out on tender, request for quote. Nothing was received, and we knew we had a tight timeline working with the BIA on to get it done. So we looked to the one organization that we had had success with in the past to help us.
Thank you. So we're looking for a motion or a vote on this. All in favor of this?
I'm going to ask for a recorded vote, please.
All right. Recorded vote? Yes.
Thank you, through you, Chair. I think that we need to keep David Creed in mind for in the future, but I think in terms of this one, I think our administration has done what they should do. And there's other artists, not just Dave Creed, in the community. So it's really unfair to say you didn't pick Dave Creed when could be 10 artists throughout the municipality that they could have picked up and called. I think in the future, we put out the tender, and if they don't apply, if I don't know, I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think it's fair to say that they didn't contact Dave Creed. I would also like to say before we vote on this that there's going to be more opportunities for murals in our community, so we can let Mr. Creed know. I went to high school with him. Actually, he's a couple years older than me, so I know him very well. There's going to be more murals in our community coming up, and I would like the ACT committee just to make a note of the Sheps building, the Langfords building, because Mr. Boudreau would like a mural on there in the future. So if that could be part of the next agenda, maybe Dave Creed can actually do a mural right in Harrow, which would be pretty cool. So I think in terms of this one, I don't know if there's a solution to it, but because we're just finding out tonight that Mr. Creed is interested. So I don't know. I think we have to move forward on this, but I think there are other opportunities.
Thank you. Any more comments, questions concerning the motion? Nothing? All in favor?
I asked
Sorry, yes. You asked for a recorded vote?
Through you, Mr. Chair, on the motion to receive Community Services 2018-030 and provide 3 readings to Bylaw 1739, as moved by Councillor Vokes and seconded by Councillor Snively. Councillor Vokes, how do you vote this evening?
Opposed?
Councillor Snively? Support. Councillor Bondi?
Support.
And Councillor Rogers?
I'll support.
With a recorded vote of 3 in favor and 1 opposed, the motion carries.
Thank you. 8.5, Community Service Report 2018-031, Special Events Resource Team, CERT, August update. Do we have anybody that wants to update us? Moved by Councillor Bondi, seconded by Councillor Snively. Any questions, comments? Nothing? All in favor? Thank you. Community Services Report 2018-33, Harrow Rotary request to install a pergola at the Harrow Soccer Complex. Seconder, Councillor Vokes. Any questions, comments? Seeing none, all in favor? That's all in favor? That's carried, thank you. 8.7, Infrastructure and Development Report 2018-14, Results of Tender, Request for Tender Supply of Wheel Loader 2018. Second? Second? So that's, yeah. Any questions, comments? No? All in favor? Carried, thank you. 8.8, Infrastructure and Development Report 2018-15, Results for Request for Tender, Surface Treatment Rehabilitation 2018.
Support.
Seconder? Councillor Bondi? Any questions, comments? All in favor? That's carried, thank you. Reports from youth members.
I actually have one today.
All right, go ahead, Ethan.
The Harrow Rotary is putting on a beach volleyball tournament September 9th. It's 2-on-2. It's $50 per team, and it's at the Colchester Beach. So to sign up, there's posters all around Harrow, and also you can go on Windsor Snap. It's a website where you can sign up online. And that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Chair. So I've registered, I can't play because I don't really have any mean skills anymore. They're not tight anymore, but I've registered Rick and a friend, so I'll be down there watching, which it should be entertaining. He said he wanted to call his team Best Before 89 or something like that. So I hope you get a good turnout. I've been promoting it on Facebook, and I look forward to seeing everything going on there.
Thank you.
If I could?
Yes, go ahead.
Would there be opportunity to put that on our town website,
I would think so.
please?
I think so, yeah.
There's a poster, and also you can put the link online, I guess.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So, County Council update. We don't have anybody here that sits on County Council, so we're not going to have an update. Correspondence. Correspondence to be received. Yeah. We can receive them on consent, or one at a time. If there's things in there that you want to pull out. No. Okay. Are you making that motion?
To do them all.
Okay. We have a seconder for that. Seconder, Councillor Snively. Any questions or comments? All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. That was it. Okay. Correspondence. Okay. 11.2, correspondence to be considered for receipt and support. No? Oh, we don't have any. That's okay. All right. Moving on to 12, committee meeting minutes. We go over these one at a time, or all?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's just the Finance Committee minutes from August 13th for receipt, or for adoption as presented with the recommendations as noted.
Okay, it's Councillor Snively and Councillor Bondi. With a comment? Councillor Bondi, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, or Mr. Chair Mayor. Mr. Chair Mayor. So I think it's important to note in here that we are supporting the Finance Committee's minutes in terms of the M&M canteen renewal at the Harrow Arena, which is exciting because that means we'll have a canteen stand at the Harrow Arena for the next 2 years. One thing I would like administration at some point to follow up on, and there's nobody really here from Parks and Rec, but I think our CAO can bring the message back, is that I believe in the past we've had a couple budget meetings about more office space at the Harrow Arena, because it's come since the canteen, if we took it out, we would have office space, and I am hearing some rumblings from staff, because now we have a part-time program planner out there, that we really need to address that. And I know we can't address it in this term of council, but there might have been some dollars in our past budgets to do renovations at the Harrow Arena. So having an update from Doug at some point in the next little bit as to what the plan is would be nice, because I don't think staff are comfortable there in the Harrow Arena. So I know we have our canteen session, which is great, but I want to make sure that staff are comfortable as well.
Any more comments? No? All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Moving on to 13, financial, 13.1, Finance and Business Services Report. Seconder? Councillor Vokes. Any questions, comments? Councillor Bondi?
Thank you. Through you, Chair, just over to our Finance Department. I think that this was a really proactive memo, and I really like seeing that, you know, the budget timeline set up. So anybody that's on council, anybody from the public, anybody that's running from council can kind of see the highlights of what's going on. So I like it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Notice, new business? No new business? Notices of motion.
Yeah, so through you, Mr. Chair,
Sure.
under 15.1, those two notices of motion which were brought forward for consideration were both withdrawn at the request of the movers. And then as adopted with the, as added to the adopted agenda this evening is Councillor Rogers' notice of motion that was just presented will be brought forward to the September 4th meeting.
Right. Okay, so 16, reports and announcements from council members. We'll start at that end of the table. Councillor Snively?
Nothing, Your Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Bondi?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just in terms of election, an email went out to candidates and it talked about vote by proxy. And I think our clerk's department should clarify to the members of the public, if anybody is a proxy voter, I do not know if they can vote on election day, on October 22nd, because that was one of the things Miss Lori Brett and I talked about at some point. So if people are away on October 22nd, they have to arrange their vote by proxy beforehand. And even in our little binders, it says the municipal clerk does not have to guarantee a vote by proxy on election day, because there's so much going on that it's so busy. So we need to make sure that we get ahead of this and let everybody know that if they're voting by proxy, to get out and vote ahead of time. So that was one thing that I think was important that I've been discovering along my travels, and I thought it would be important to raise, to let the candidates know and to let the public know as well about how the vote by proxy is going to work for the election. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bondi. Councillor Vokes?
Over the last couple of days, I've been working with the residents of Townsview Gallus subdivision, where they have an interest in putting a park in. And in terms of getting that park in, I walked into the bank the other day, CIBC Bank, and a gentleman approached me who lives in that particular community. And in that community, there's a group of people that have collectively come together. And the cost of the project to put the park in is $350,000, give or take a percentage. And in that discussion, he said that this particular committee has great interest in helping the town fundraise to pay for that park. So what he wanted to do is he had asked me how he could do that, and I had said, let me talk to the Parks and Rec Director, Doug Sweet, and make arrangements to have a meeting set up to have the discussions on how we can make that fundraising initiative happen. In the interim of that, there was administration, particularly that in our CAO, Donna Hunter, felt as though that it terribly could be a conflict of interest as it relates again to the election coming up. And personally myself, I don't see any relationship between following up on that file that was opened up on May 18th when the original letter was sent to the Parks and Rec Director, Doug Sweet, requesting about the park, in terms of that and a fundraising event. And in the email I received from Mrs. Hunter, I had asked that we can use the hall September 6th. It was her position, because of the electoral period taking place, where a meeting was set up by Doug Sweet to meet with this group September 6th. That meeting was canceled on the direction of the CAO. And so with that being said now, I told them in the email, I will continue to have that meeting with or without you, because it's about fundraising. It has no other initiative to it other than fundraising. And they want to know if they can use the town's registration number for receipts and things of that nature. And I feel as though it's imperative we meet with them. So in the email that was sent to me, it was suggested if I want to use the hall to meet with those people, I got to pay for it. So what I'm asking council to do is waive the fee for me tonight of the hall so I can continue to meet with these people, so they can give us money to reduce the cost of the $350,000 for the park. I don't know why I'm being charged to use the hall as an elected councillor and as a taxpayer, because I own that hall. That hall's mine.
Thank you, Councillor Vokes. We're going to let the CAO Donna Hunter respond to that.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. First of all, I just want to correct this because I think it's important. It wasn't my decision. I got information from Doug Sweet, which came about as a result of conversation between Doug Sweet and Rob Auger. I was on vacation, so I came into this near the end. Doug had conversation with you, Councillor Vokes, that I understand from what he had explained to me, that had said we would have that meeting in November because it would appear that we're using resources, town resources as in staff and town resources as in facilities to promote a project that is really one that you were promoting personally.
That's not true.
Which is,
That's why I'm going to correct you
okay,
right there. That's not
may I
even
continue
close to
speaking?
being true. Not even close to being true.
Let our CAO finish, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, if there is a desire to have a meeting, then it should, in my eyes, to make it more, less related to election and more related to all of council, it shouldn't be one council member and residents. It should be all of council and residents.
Perfect.
So that the optics of that is that council is working with the residents. Not one councillor using that as something that really, in an election period, looks like you're promoting a project that will promote a council member. And I just want to clarify, that was not my decision. Doug had suggested to you a meeting in November, you agreed to that, and that's where it was left. Now to suddenly say that we disagreed and I formally put it down, no, I did not. And I don't appreciate that being put out there to the public that I'm stopping business of the town.
God,
And
if I could.
It is your facility, it's all of our
If I
facilities,
could.
but it's still a resource.
If I could, through the chair. Saturday night, you sent an email out.
Point of order. Okay, point of order, through the chair.
Yes,
Enough
what's your
is
point of-
enough. We've dealt with this, Councillor Vokes. You got the email. You know what's going on. Why are you making a big show out of this here?
I'm not.
You're abusive.
I'm not.
You abuse
I'm
our
not.
staff.
Point of order.
No,
Can you
not
stop?
point of order.
He
You
doesn't like
abuse
what I
me.
said to him about taking the picture of the Moby mat when he didn't do nothing.
You
So
abuse
now
me.
he's just rebuttaling that.
You
That's all he's
threatened
doing.
me at the Moby mat, my friend.
Yeah, because you deserved it.
Let's stop this right now, or we're going to have a recess.
Yeah, take a recess, because he really needs to settle down. He really does.
Councillor Vokes?
You really did.
Please.
So anyways, can we get back to the order of business before I was rudely interrupted? So if council wants to collectively meet, I have no problem with that. I think that's a great idea.
This needs to be taken up, other than in this meeting right now. We need to address it through discussion with administration and council to see if it can move forward, but not right now. I don't believe that would be the case.
So then what's the next step then? I can't believe I'm begging somebody to have a meeting to get money for the town.
Right. Yes, this is reports from council members, and it's supposed to be just reports without discussion and cross-talk on the table.
So that's, I agree, so that's my report. So I'm just
Okay.
wondering what we can do about it then. That's all. Simple question before I was rudely interrupted. by a point
We
of
need to
order.
move on, and we've taken your report, and thank you for your report.
Okay, so I'll await the decision of administration in terms of meeting all with council, with those people who are endeavoring to fundraise to help get money together for the park.
Thank you, Councillor Vokes.
Thank you.
Moving on to bylaws. Do you go through, or I go through? Oh, go ahead. You usually do.
Bylaws for third and final reading, 1682, to provide for the Shepley Drain.
Yeah, seconder? Councillor Snively? Any questions? All in favor? That's carried, thank you.
1732 to confirm the proceedings from the August 7th meeting.
Councilor Bondi, seconder. Councilor Snively, all in favor? Carried. What's that? Oh, I know, but I'm busy.
And
Bylaws that require a first, second, third, and final reading. Go ahead.
so through you, Mr. Chair, the remaining bylaw for passage this evening is 1740 for 2 readings, just to the confirming bylaw for this meeting.
Councilor Bondi and Councilor Vokes. Discussion? That wasn't even on. What?